Good day, AP Biology students. Welcome to video lecture episode 4. Today we're continuing in chapter 28. Remember, chapter 28 is dealing with plant structures, growth, and development. We're starting back at slide 19. Now, remember last time we were together, we finished up talking about the 2 out of the 3 tissues in organization within plants, that being the dermal tissue and the vascular tissue. Today we're going to start in slide 19 with ground tissue. So anything that isn't classified as dermal or vascular is considered ground tissue. What is the function of ground tissue? Well, it's for storage, photosynthesis, and support. Now, pith. What is pith? Pith and cortex are 2 terms that we need to understand within ground tissue. The pith is inside vascular tissue, this type of ground tissue that's inside vascular tissue, and cortex is this type of tissues that are outside vascular tissue. Okay? All right, so let's now move into our last category, that being cell types. And if you look on slide 20, we have 2 out of the 3 cell types mentioned. That's xylem and phloem. So let's talk a little bit about xylem. Xylem conducts H2O minerals up from the root. In other words, it draws it up. It's dead, tubular, and elongated cells. Okay, that's xylem. Now we have phloem. All right, phloem conducts sugar and organic compounds from leaves to other parts of the plant. So where xylem brings it from the root up, these spread it out through the rest of the parts of the plant. It's living cells which aid the movement of sugar, and there's 2 types within phloem. They are sieve tubes and companion cells. All right, let's move to slide 21. Slide 21 just has a visual picture of both xylem and phloem, so you can kind of see what these look like. All right. Now, let's move on to slide 22. Slide 22 is talking about plant growth. Well, let's talk about the types of flowering plants there are. There are annuals, biennials, and perennials. Annuals have a 1-year life cycle. So in other words, it starts at some time and ends and starts again the following year. Biennials have a 2-year life cycle. So instead of like the annuals that only go for the 1 year, that's the life cycle, these go for an extended 1 more year, so 2 years total. And then perennials, which are continuous life cycle for many years. Okay, let's talk about a term in connection with plant growth, and that is meristem. Perpetually embryonic tissue, that's what a meristem is, and these cells divide for plant growth. Now, let's talk about 2 distinctions within that, and that is apical meristem and lateral meristem. So apical meristem is growth at tips of roots and buds of shoots. Now, the cause for this is primary growth, which of course increases the length of the plant. Lateral meristem grows, thickens shoots and roots, and this is secondary growth. So not only the plant is going up with the primary growth of the apical meristem, but with the lateral, it's growing out as well. And you'll notice this if you've ever seen any trees planted or any other plants being planted. When they start out, they're really small, both in height and width, and then as they continue through their cycle, they grow. Slide 23 shows primary and secondary growth. It just visualizes it in a graph or graphic imagery, and I hope that's helpful. And we're going to go ahead and conclude today with root anatomy, just barely touching on it. If you look at slide 24, once again, there's an image on the left-hand side of slide 24, and there's an arrow pointing to where the root hairs are. Remember, we saw that in another picture earlier this week. Now let's talk about the various zones. There's the zone of maturation, which is where primary growth becomes functionally mature. There's the zone of elongation, where the cells elongate and these are stretching out, and they push root tip ahead. And then there's the zone of cell division. That's what we talked about already, just the last couple of slides before, and that was the apical meristem, where new cells are produced, and that's produced via mitosis. And then the last little division on there we have is root cap, which protects the meristem as it pushes through the soil. So it's kind of like it's almost like someone walking forward with a shield, and this is the shield portion protecting the person as they make the advancement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our video lecture for today. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or just write me an email. Have a nice day, and I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.